All right, welcome back to the next episode of Uncovering Cuisine. So, for those of y'all that don't know, I'm here in Texas, and in Texas we have this grocery store called HEB. It stands for Herbert E. Butts. I believe that's the guy's name. I believe that's the founder's name. But HEB is like a staple. HEB is amazing. I enjoy HEB. They got all the good stuff. They're just a well-known company, and they just got a spirit about them that's really is really hospitable. When you go into an HEB, like when you go in there, just something about it just feels like, okay, right on. I'm finna go get my groceries. I'm finna go get my groceries. It doesn't feel too crazy. It doesn't feel too hectic. Like for whatever reason, when you go to certain grocery stores, they got a certain vibe to them, right? It's like you're going into a different place, to a different establishment, and you get a certain feel for it. So, like at Walmart, for example, when I go into Walmart, it's just like anything can happen in here for whatever reason. I don't know what they've done at Walmart to bring that culture, but there's something about Walmart where I'd say the Walmart brand is like focused mainly on uh, like getting the most. What's the word? I want to say it's like getting the most bang for your buck because I'm a fan. I have absolutely no problem with being economical, making some budgeted choices, But Walmart doesn't necessarily come across to me as like, okay, this is where you go to make some budgeted choices. It's like penny, a pinch a penny. I'm trying to save a penny. It's the cheapest place. That's like the vibe I get when I go into Walmart, and it seems like it attracts that kind of crowd of like just ooh. It's like almost like the Dollar General of grocery stores. I mean, food. You can get good food there. It's not like they have the worst food there. They have a lot. They have a lot of food there. They have a lot of food there. I went there a lot whenever I was younger, whenever I was a kid. But as an adult, I hardly ever go to Walmart to get anything. I think the last time I was in Walmart was to get a little table, and then before that it was to get some super 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 cheap flip flops, like real fast, so that I could take them to the dojo, to the gym, so I could just take my shoes off real fast and get on the mat. That's the only reason I go to Walmart, is when I'm like, I don't associate it with groceries for whatever reason. But HEB, I associate it as a grocery store. They don't sell clothes or nothing. I guess they sell a little bit of stuff here and there, maybe, but I never really saw it like that, like this supermarket. It's like a grocery store. And something about the HEB spirit is enjoyable. It's like it's very hospitable, very warm, all that kind of stuff. Now, when you go into the HEB, they got their own brands. Y'all know how different stores have their own brands. It's the same deal for HEB. So you can have some like a boar's head ham, and then you can have an HEB branded ham. And a lot of the times, I never really know with those store branded items how they are. Usually, you get a better deal for them. Usually, they cost less than the more like name brand items. So, for example, Boar's Head ham, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty positive Boar's Head ham is going to be much more expensive than an HEB ham. And that goes, it's like the same across the board, with the exception of a few other brands that are just like really, really uh, low budget to get. Like for example, there's this brand called Hill Country. I don't know what happened between me and Hill Country, but I just don't like eating anything with Hill Country on it for whatever reason. It like makes there's something in me. I had something from Hill Country to where whenever I see that brand, I feel sick. I don't know if their food made me sick or what, but whenever I see Hill Country, something just seems off about it. It's almost like the prices are like too low. So it's like, how does this even make any sense? Like, what are y'all doing over there? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm willing to give them another shot. But anytime I know something is from Hill Country, I just get like, ooh, I want to go away from it. That's just my experience with Hill Country. But I bring them up because they're at HEB and they usually have super low prices. And I see them all over the place on like meats and snacks and drinks and all kinds of stuff. Eggs, Hill Country. So I'm not too familiar with what they got going on at Hill Country, but I know I see them as a really, really low budget type brand, right? And then HEB is like in the middle. So if you got a bag of chips and you got your like name brand chips like Lay's or something or Tostitos, then there'd be the HEB, then there'd be like Hill Country, and then other stuff in between. Sometimes there's more like luxury branded foods or whatever you want to call them, where they're like really top notch. Maybe they're supposed to be really high quality, like in nutrients or something. Anyways, I always wonder when I see these different brands, I'm like, what is the difference? Can you even tell? Can you even tell the difference if you had one or the other? And there's all kinds of brands at the grocery store. And believe it or not, I actually prefer groceries more so than like restaurants. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy eating out, but I really enjoy eating at home and like home cooked meal, or at least like stuff I like grabbing stuff from the grocery store a little more. Don't get me wrong, I love eating out. I just did an episode on Buffalo Wild Wings the other day, but there's something about that grocery store feeling that's a little bit more homey, right? So I'm like, this channel is going to be all about all kinds of foods, all kinds of cuisines, all kinds of different discoveries. It's not just going to be like, oh, wings or restaurants. Or I intend to do all that kind of stuff. And I was at HEB. I'm like, this is a perfect place because check this out. They got all this HEB branded stuff. It'd be awesome to compare the HEB branded stuff to the different name branded stuff and see how they rank against one another. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And today, we're squaring off with two chips, y'all. Two types of chips. I know y'all know these, right? Cool Ranch Doritos. It looks like it's backwards in the camera. We got Cool Ranch Doritos right here, and then we got the Cool Ranch HEB branded chips. They just been opened actually. My lovely assistant has put the chips in their own little containers right here so that I can't tell which one is which, because I don't want to be biased. I don't want to be biased and know exactly. I'd rather do a blind test, right? Blind taste test and see how it is. First off, I gotta say, Cool Ranch Doritos, dang good. That's like a staple. I feel like everybody knows Cool Ranch Doritos. And I've had both of these chips before, but never really compared them, never really thought about it. The only reason I got the HEB chips in the past is because I remember seeing, oh, they're cheaper. And they taste kind of the same, but I wasn't really paying too much attention to it. So what I'm gonna do today is pay close attention. I don't know which chip is which, but I guarantee, I don't know, I don't want to speak too soon. I feel like I'm gonna be able to tell which one is which, but I'm gonna eat them separately. I don't know which ones they are. There should be, yeah, there's a little label underneath the bottom here. So after I'm done, then we'll pull out these labels and we'll see once and for all. You know, it would be good too. A good idea for future episodes is to keep a price on both, because that's really impactful too, right? If you got Cool Ranch Doritos, if you got these are like, if you got these at like $7, and then you got these at like $4, that's a big difference. That's a $3 difference. That's a huge difference, and it goes into play. It's like, is it worth it? Is it that good? Is it $3? Okay, let's say the Doritos brand is better, but are they $3 better, or is it like they're not that much better? You know what I'm saying? So we got to keep that stuff in mind. But for you guys at home, these are the two cups. Look, the little tag is almost falling. Y'all can see the tags underneath there. I can't see what they say. I'm not looking. I can see in my peripherals though that they're underneath there. So without further ado, let's get into these chips, see what's up. So I got this one on the right, this one on my right, this one on my left. So your left, your right, whatever. I'm looking at both these chips straight off the rip. I'm pretty sure this one over here is the Dorito, because I noticed on the Doritos they kind of have this like actually maybe I'm wrong, but a lot of them seem to have this bend in them. They got this shape to where it's like very bendy and pronounced. Not all of them, like you can see that one, but for whatever reason, I just noticed they got that like they tend to have that like hard bend in them. Versus, I'm guessing these are the H-E-B ones. They look a little bit lighter. And that one still has a little bend in it too, actually. But based off my recollection, the H-E-B ones are more puffy. Can y'all see that? Can y'all see the puff in that chip? Versus these ones, they still have little air pockets in them because you know after all these are just tortilla chips with flavoring on it. But notice how none of these chips, which I'm claiming to be Doritos, really have that fluffy pouch. But if we pick up these ones from H-E-B, like a few of them, this is my guess from H-E-B, they have a few of these like really pronounced puffy pockets. Can y'all see that there? Can y'all see that puff on that chip? Versus if we go through a few of these, it's like, look, no real puff, pretty straight. No real puff, pretty straight. That one has a little bit of puff, but not too much. So I'm guessing right off the rip that these are Doritos, but we'll wait till the end to see. And I'll go into these ones first. Let's do this puffy one. So that's good. That's not a bad chip. It's not a bad chip. It's got a good amount of that flavor on it. I don't know what it's called, but I guess that's seasoning. However they dust these tortilla chips, it's really good. They're not too hard and they're not too fluffy. They got a nice crunch to them. And those little air pockets just make it like a little bit lighter. There's something really satisfying about popping, like biting down into those big fat air pockets. And I'm sure y'all can hear that on the mic. It's just a real satisfying sound. It's like, man, that's a solid chip. One thing too with these kind of chips, I like to pay attention to how much of that dust gets on the finger. So right now I'm noticing the dust, it sticks to my finger, but it's not really like coating my finger. For those of y'all that have had Doritos before, if you can see, my fingers aren't like coated in this thick powder, which I appreciate. I never really like getting all that stuff on there. Don't get me wrong, it tastes good, but when it's all just caked up on there, it's like, golly, and you gotta suck it off. It's all salty. You could wipe it off, but you know, you gotta do it like a soldier. That's a solid chip. I'm positive. I'm almost 100% sure these are H-E-Bs. So that's those. That's a dang good chip. That's just classic. You can have it with the sandwich. That's where I'm imagining it on like a picnic or something, having it with the sandwich. You're just chilling out, snacking on a couple of chips here and there. That's a good chip. Really no complaints. It's not like, oh, that's not really good. Something about that chip's nasty. It's like, no. This is a solid go-to chip. I'm pretty sure that's H-E-B. But you will have no qualms with that chip whatsoever. It does not feel like, oh, this is like a supermarket chip. I wouldn't get that. It's not good at all. I wouldn't get that chip. Pass. You can tell it's just some off-brand chip. It's not like that at all. It's like, that's a dang good chip. It has that classic Cool Ranch flavor. It doesn't feel like, oh, that's weird. That's not Cool Ranch. It feels like, nah, that is definitely Cool Ranch. It seems like they took their time and they did that chip right. So let's do this one. I'm pretty dang sure this is a Doritos chip. I'm pretty dang sure that's a Doritos chip. But let's see what's up with this one. I'm pretty dang sure that's Doritos. Right off the cuff, first things first, it's a little more stiffer. It has like a harder crunch to it. The other chip is still crunchy, but this one has like what's the word? The texture is like a little bit tougher. And something about that is really satisfying. It takes a little bit more effort to bite through these chips. Not a whole lot, but it's a little bit more, and it's noticeable. It just makes the eating experience nicer to me. I'm like, yeah, this is solid. Plus, the flavor on these is a little bit more pronounced. I don't know what they do to these ones. I don't know what the flavor is necessarily, but I notice whenever I bite into it, it fills up my nose with this like cool, ranchy, peppery flavor, and it feels great. It's just nice. It's like filling up my nostrils, making me pay full attention to this chip. It's making like it's really stand out. It's really bold. It's really bold. The other chip is nice. It's not. There's nothing wrong with that other chip. This one's flavor is just a little more bold, a little more pronounced, to where when you eat it, it's like, man, that's really nice. Depending on how you like your chips, I guess. Depending on how you really like your chips or what you're planning to do, what you got going on, it's like if I was just eating a bowl of these by themselves, they're like nice. And I was just looking to really get in there and taste that Cool Ranch experience. These ones are really dang good. These ones are really dang good. If I was like just having a picnic or something with some sandwiches, and I'm not trying to do all that, like the chips don't need to be the star of the show, then these other fluffier chips, they would be all right too. They're both really good. They're both really good. But I gotta say, these ones from a flavor perspective and what it did to my nose, I don't know what they did. But these seasonings, like right when you pop it in your mouth, you can just start inhaling it, feeling those little subtle peppery flakes, whatever they got going on there. It's just nice. It's like, man, fully taking over the show. Fully taking over the show. I want to pay attention to these. Like, man, these are really good. These are a little bit lighter. These ones are a little bit lighter, not as strong. Not as much. I don't know if it's the amount of seasoning that's on there, or if it's the type of seasons that's in the seasoning. I don't really know. But I gotta say, these ones are bolder. These ones are bolder, which is like, dang, because I'm pretty sure these are the HEB, and I'm pretty sure these are the Doritos. But all in all, this is why too it'd be a really good idea to have like a price amount to it, because I guarantee you, I don't remember how much these were at the store. I didn't pay attention. I was just like, oh, this is a good idea. Grab one of these, grab one of these. But I guarantee you, having that price next to these is super important. Super, super important, especially for stuff like this, where it's like, all right, but like I said at the beginning, how much is this? And how much is this? Because if there's a big price discrepancy, I'm going with this one all the time. It's like, this isn't that good. It's not that much better. Where it's like, yo, this one is, well, I don't care how much this is, I'm getting that one. It's like, nah, they're too close. They're too close, but this one is slightly inferior compared to this one. So, enough of the shenanigans. We'll open up this one first, the one that I said tastes better to me. It is Doritos. Where's the camera at? Doritos. It was, in fact, the Doritos. This one was the HEB. So, without taking price into consideration, I gotta go with the Doritos. Fire. I don't know if it's nostalgia or what. I don't think it is. But this flavor profile, it just stands out like, I am here. And I like that. In a Cool Ranch chip. In a Cool Ranch chip, it's like, it needs to be like that. It needs to have that pop out. Because you're not just fixing a snack on, like, oh, I think I'll just have a Cool Ranch chip, you know. Something light, you know. It's not like that. It's a Cool Ranch chip, so it needs to be hitting. And it needs to be hitting. It's a Cool Ranch chip. It's a tortilla chip. Like you're fixing to get in there. It needs to pack a punch. It needs to pack a punch. Because nobody's getting a Cool Ranch chip. Like, you want something a little light. Not too much flavor, a little bit, you know, it needs to be up in there. The H-E-B ones, they still got flavor. They're still fun, but they're just not. They're not hitting like the Doritos ones are. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if it's the crunch or what, but I want to say it's more about the seasoning. Just like this one just doesn't have as much seasoning on it. So it's not as it doesn't make as much of an impact on my palate. Oh. So there you have it, folks. Stay tuned, I'm coming back. We got another puffy surprise coming at you later. Puffy surprise. Puffy surprise. We're going to keep this series going, the H-E-B versus. H-E-B versus. We'll see how H-E-B performs. And one thing I got to keep track of, I don't know if I have that receipt with me. Maybe I'll be able to add a little amendment to the end of this video if I got the receipt. I think I might have tossed it though. But one thing I'm going to do going forward, I don't know if I have the receipt for this next item, this next puffy surprise that we got coming up. But what I'm going to do is keep that receipt too, so we can add that as a variable, because I want to know personally, how good is it really though? Because I guarantee you, if those Doritos are a lot more expensive than the H-E-B stuff, forget those Doritos. I'm not paying top dollars for those. They're not that good. You know what I'm saying? They are good, but not a huge dollar amount better. All right, y'all. That is all for now. I'll catch you later. Bye.